I demolded it, and I'm super pissed off. Once again, the mold busted into pieces, trying to get it off, and I mean, I barely whacked at it, so it wasn't like, but the plaster is just crumbling. So I got to the bottom of this. I called Mitch at Bitty Mold, and Mitch told me, he says, oh, I know what your problem is. And I thought maybe there was a shelf life for the plaster, and there is none. And the way I store my plaster, there shouldn't be an issue either, he said. The first thing he asked me with this Ultra Cal 30 was, am I making my plaster thin to capture detail? Because this obviously happened to a couple other people. And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been mixing this, thin and putting it over top to capture every little detail. He says, no. Ultra Cal 30 needs to be a dense mix. In other words, it has to be very thick, like 3 parts to 1 part water. And that's not even close to what I'm doing. So now I know my runny batches are weakening the stone. You have to add a lot more Ultra Cal to this mix to actually have any luck with it. Well, the good news is the upper part of the lip is fine. The bad news is the bottom part of the lip got destroyed. A little bit of the chin got destroyed. The nose obviously has got to be completely reworked. The eye cuts on the bottom are all wrecked. A little bit of damage here. Some big chunks taken out. I don't know how that happened with demolding. The ears are wrecked again. There's another big chunk right on the side of the face here. So I've got a lot of work to do to this in a short time. Again, only this time I'm going to make sure that my batches of Ultra Cal are super thick. He said it almost has to be a little thicker than what do you call it? Pancake batter. You want it to be thick. Every coat has to be fairly thick, or else the stone is not strong. And I have been, the last 2 times, I've been making my stone thinner to capture better detail. And that's not how you work with Ultra Cal. Ultra Cal 30, Hydro Cal, you can do it that way, but you cannot do it with Ultra Cal. This really sucks, because this is gonna set me back a little bit, because there's quite a bit of damage on this sculpture. So yeah, this really sucks. Yep. So back to the drawing board, guys. Hopefully I can knock this out in 24 hours at least. Get it back to where it was. I am not going to try and video that, because I want to try and get this done. I got to get this back to where it needs to be. This is a nightmare. This is really ticking me off. I had this thing perfect. I really did. I had this sculpture perfect. And but you know what? I don't stress. I don't do that. I'm not that kind of person where I overreact to things. I never have been that kind of guy. I'll fix. That's the way I look at it. I'll just fix it. I'll fix the problem. So let me blow this thing off to get all the dust off of it. And then I'm going to take this in and work on it tonight once my company leaves. And get it back to where it was. It's the only thing I can do. It is the only thing I can do. This mold, once again, broke. Do I get highly upset? No, I'm upset, but you know what? I'm not one of these guys that gets nuts. I just, you know what? Work the problem. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board, fix my issue here with the sculpture. And now I talked to a professional about the Ultra Cal, and he let me know right away that the problem is I'm not mixing the stone thick enough. I have to really make the stone dense. So that's a good thing to know. Anybody out there that has seen my other videos that are copying that same mix, please don't. Make sure you 3 parts to 1. Yes, you want to sift it in, but you really need to make your stone, Ultra Cal 30 has to be thick for it to be strong. Yeah, so, you know, I was under the assumption that, you know, you just keep mixing it until it's oh man, just more delays, that's all. Just another delay, just gotta fix it. Just gotta fix it, that's all. No big deal. I'll get it back to where it was. You know, I have the general shape here. I just have to bring the lip back up. That's all. You know, so. The side, ooh, wow. Big gouge on the side of the jaw there. I gotta fix that. Big gouge right here in the jaw. Yeah, some back, you know, some head damage. Taking this thing apart, definitely the ears. Forget about the ears. I don't have to look at them because I know they're destroyed. So, yeah, it started breaking real easily too. I wasn't hammering that hard. I was trying to be extra careful, and I thought, oh, what the hell's going on here? You know, why is this thing? You know, and all of a sudden, the ear chipped again. I was like, wait a minute, I barely whacked at this thing. I really didn't hit it that hard. And when I called Mitch at Bitty Mold Supply, Brick in the Yard, better known as Brick in the Yard, I talked to Mitch directly, and he informed me that I'm making my stone mix too thin. I got to make sure that Ultra Cal 30 has to be thick, has to be a thicker mix. So, with that being said, I will definitely go back to the drawing board and I'll fix the sculpture. I'll have it done in 24 hours. I know I will, but I'm not going to start it until tonight. So I'm not going to put it on video because I need to move fast. I need to get this thing back to where it was. You know, the positioning of everything's still there. The nose is going to take me some time. That nose, I might even tackle that first because it's one of the hardest things to do, the nose. The ears are easy for me. I blow through them within, I can have both ears done in probably 2 hours. You know, the jawline, all that stuff's there. I just need to bring it back and smooth it. The lips, this one's more damaged than the other one, so it's going to be a little more work. The last time I damaged it, the under eye cuts, I know how they're shaped, so I'm not really too worried about them. I can fix that pretty easily. But yeah, you know, it's a lesson learned. And I don't, like I said, I don't get myself overworked up. I work the problem. You know what I mean? It's just the way I do things. My whole life, I don't stomp. I don't go crazy. I don't go, oh, I'm not going to do this. I don't quit on things. I figured out what the problem is now, you know, once I talked to Mitch at Bitty Mold, and I've been making my my batches of plaster too thin. And the reason why I've been making it so thin is because I was trying to grab extra detail as what I want. I want the really fine detail, and apparently that's not exactly what you want to do with Ultra Cal 30. You have to make it a little bit thicker than pancake batter, and my mixes have been very thin, especially the first 2 or 3 coats, or the first 2 coats are thin. So I have to make sure that I have to add a lot more Ultra Cal. I'll make damn sure that it's nice and thick next time. So I should have this thing resculpted and back to shape in 24 hours. You know, at least now I know that I can sculpt this thing fast. I can get it back to where it was. You know, I'm not too worried about it. Yes, it's got damage, but it is what it is. So I don't sweat the small stuff. I got my friend coming over today. We're gonna hang out, and then I'm going to get back to work on this tonight. I'll be working on this until I get it done. I'll probably work a few hours on it tonight, and then a few hours on it tomorrow, or a few hours. I'll work right through tomorrow. I won't stop until I'm done. Tomorrow's Friday. It's you know what? It's almost exactly a week when I did the other one. It's just I can't win. So I'm gonna have to call that guy up where I get my Ultra Cal, and I'm gonna have to get some more Ultra Cal from him too. So I'll have to pick that up tomorrow. On top of doing some work on this thing. So yeah, I need to make sure that that I've got a good batch. I'm gonna use new plaster on the next one just in case. Just in case the plaster is bad. Because plaster, if it gets any moisture in it at all, it weakens the. It starts to cure the plaster, and it can weaken your plaster. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to use a whole new batch. I'm going to go pick up 2 bags of it tomorrow, Ultra Cal 30, and then from there, I'll get this thing done. I'll get it back to where it was. It sucks. I know everybody's waiting for this mask. They're waiting for this masterpiece. And same here. I mean, I really had this sculpture nailed. I had this sculpture so good. And I'm just going to have to make it perfect again, that's all. No crying about it. Spilled milk, baby. Move on. So, I'll get it. I'll get it. I had to figure out what was wrong with this plaster, though. It's a big issue. So, hopefully, the next mold will be the final mold, and I'll be able to get this thing apart and not have a problem. I even cut the ears. I cut the back of the ears. I cut into the ears to release the pressure, and then pulled some of the clay out of it to release a lot of the pressure when I was sculpting or demolding. The back, once again, that back part, that came off no problem. But the front part got destroyed. And I can't reuse the back part because what happens is when you destroy the ears, you're resculpting the ears, you're resculpting things, and you cannot match that up. You'll never match up that back half unless I pour a pretty thick layer of melted clay into the mold. And I'm not doing that. I'm just going to sculpt it and do the whole thing over again. It's the only way you do this. You have to do it. You have to do it right. And obviously, making the batter too thin was definitely not the right way to go. So sorry, guys. I got to get back at sculpting this again and get it back to where it was. And I will. It'll be right back because I've got it kind of memorized. Exactly how this thing has to be. It's kind of weird. I have it memorized. I can almost close my eyes and sculpt this back to normal. Especially with the same areas, because these same areas are what I have to fix every time. So the ears, the nose, the eye cuts, a little bit of the eyebrows, and the lower lip, and a little bit of the chin. That's what gets damaged. Every time. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to blow this off with the air compressor, take this back inside, and I'll be resculpting this again tonight. I'll start it this evening as soon as my friend leaves, and from there, start over again. That's all I can do. And then this time, hopefully, I got good plaster. I'll have new plaster, because I'm going to call him as soon as I get off the phone here, because I use my phone for my videoing. So as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to call this guy up, go pick up some plaster. I might pick it up today. I'll take my friend with me, and we'll go pick up some plaster. I'll get some Ultra Cal 30, and then from there we will see. We'll see where I'm at. So You know, I should be, by tomorrow night, I should be real close to having this thing finished back to where it was. And then right away, I'm not messing around. I'll start molding it right away. So guys, I want to thank you for following this journey with me. Yes, I'm a little upset, but I'm not that upset. The reality of it is, I hate to admit this, but I actually love sculpting. So it's kind of like, oh, cool. I get back to doing some sculpting, but I really want to move on to doing the H40 out of this version. I'm sick and tired of fixing this thing. So with that being said, I got to get back at it and get this thing finished. And look, if you guys are doing this sort of thing and you're having some issues like I've been having, don't get discouraged. You know what? You have the ability. Just go back at it. Don't even waste your time sweating over it. Just get it done. I have until September. My biggest thing is if I have this mask done just for this Halloween, that's okay for me. I don't really care. I mean, I'd like to have all three done, but I can see my back's against the wall now. I'm just going to be satisfied if I can get this guy done and maybe the H40. The Kills mask is not going to be done until probably after Halloween now because I'm running out of time. So, but either way, we'll see. We'll see how much time, we'll see how this next thing goes, and we'll see how the Ultra Cal holds up when I go to demold it the next time. And I think I'm going to order some dental plaster to add to my Ultra Cal to give it more strength. It changes the absorption. It'll absorb a little slower because it makes the stone denser but harder. The denser the stone, the harder the mold will be. That's how it works. Ultra Cal is the densest stone that you can get in plaster form. Ultra Cal 30. Dental stone is a lot harder, but it's not really meant for mold making. That's why you don't add a lot to your Ultra Cal. You add some, just a little bit, probably like a cup to a whole batch of Ultra Cal. That's it. You 1 cup to a batch of Ultra Cal that you make up, and then it just adds extra strength to your Ultra Cal. So Mitch told me not to do that, but I have seen some videos where people are doing it, and it works really good with their fine detail. But I'm going to try it. And if I wreck the mold again, I doubt it's going to be from breaking because the dental plaster is extremely hard. So, yeah. No comments? Anybody want to comment? Anybody want to say anything? Yeah, I demolded this thing just a little while ago. I got to clean up now, but the whole thing busted, as you can see. Broke in half, and I mean, it was a thick mold. Look how thick this mold is. Hold on. That was thick. That's a thick mold, man. But it was brittle, and I couldn't figure. I was like, and I wasn't even banging on this thing that hard. I really wasn't. I didn't bang hard on it at all. But boy, did it broke right by the ear again. I'm just digging out some clay that's in this area here. I salvaged my clay. I'll stick it right here on the ear. Then I got to clean this off. I got to fix the head here. Looks like it kind of dented it in here too. So I got some work to do on this one. This might take a day and a half. The other one I did it in like 10 hours because there wasn't that much damage, but this time there's a lot of damage. So because this mold busted right, like literally broken right on while it was still on the mold, on the sculpture. And that's why this got dented so badly here. The nose got wrecked because the mold came off on an angle because it broke. So, and that's why I think it gouged it here and on the jawline. This side's okay. Back of the neck got wrecked. It's just, it is what it is. But no sense in crying about it. Let's just get back to it. And but at least now I called Mitch, and I have a better understanding with the Ultra Cal that it has to be made a thick batter. It cannot be thin. Know that going forward, guys. Anybody that's using Ultra Cal 30, do not make that stuff thin. You have to make it as thick as a little thicker than pancake batter. A little thicker than pancake batter, is what I was told. And the thing is, you know, the HydroCal you can mix. You know how like you mix it up, I put it in the bucket and I bring it up to where it's saturated and then it creates little islands. Well, he said you can't do that with UltraCal. You have to literally, it's 3 parts to 1. 1 part water, 3 parts plaster. It's roughly about that to get it right. And next time I just know that I'm probably gonna just measure it. I'm not gonna do the, whatever my weight, I'm gonna do it by weight too. No, I can't because it's stone, two different densities. Hold on. How can I do? Well, I'm gonna have to do 16 ounces. I'll do 16 ounces of water, possibly 24 ounces on a thick batch. 16 ounces, 1 part, and you know, I'll make it work. I'll make it work. 3 parts to 1 when it comes to water versus stone. 1 part water, 3 parts stone. Oh man, how frustrating. I thought I was doing the right thing, and here it was, I was not doing this plaster correct. So, and that's what did it. You know, should have called Mitch right from the get-go last time, but I figured, nah, it's probably bad batch of plaster, or wasn't sure what it was, but now I know. So I'm going to jump off of here, guys. I'm going to blow this thing off, and I'll show you where I'm at tomorrow night. By tomorrow night, you're going to see this thing almost back to where it was. So I don't get mad. I just work the problem. That's all I do. That's the best way to handle things. Getting pissed off never gets anything done. You know, just not a big fan of handling things that way. I don't do it that way. I never have, never will. So, just more work to do, that's all. I know that I'll have this done by Halloween, no doubt. As long as I have this mask finished for Halloween, I'm happy. You know, the 2018 and the kills, it'll just come as it comes, that's all. It'll get done when it gets done. I want it right. I don't care if I make this year or not. You know, there's always next year for me, Halloween. I don't really care. This ain't about making money for me. You know, it really isn't. It's okay to have the extra money, but it's not about that. You know, so I'm more focused on making a very accurate mask, and I want it, you know, very, you know, as good as I can possibly make it. And, you know, give you guys the best possible mask that I can do to my ability. And, you know, shit happens, as they say. So, but now at least I know what the problem is. That's the main thing. You know, I should have made that phone call right away, and I didn't. You know, it wasn't pride or anything. It's because I'm not afraid to call somebody when I don't know something. But I just thought, well, maybe it was a bad batch of plaster. You know, I never thought that you can't thin. I thought you could thin UltraCal. You can't. You cannot thin it. It has to be made very dense. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce. Thanks for watching. And, okay. Was the molding successful? It broke again. Yes, I have. Yeah, Steve, I have to take off vision. I have to retool again. Steve, don't mold behind the ear. Go along the edge of the ear. The edge of the ear. Yeah, well, I mean, I was trying to do that to hide the seam behind the ear. I get what you're saying, but that's not really what's causing the problem, because I cut the ears off. And I barely hit this thing. I didn't really hit it that hard. I'll show you exactly how hard I hit this. As a matter of fact, maybe, I mean, here's my little hammer, and I got my block of wood, and I used block of wood, and I was on the back side, the front part, and I was tapping on it about like this. I wasn't whacking it. I wasn't hitting that thing real hard. Now, the one mold that I had success with, I made very dense. I remember my mix, I made a very thick, like almost like really thick plaster, and I was able to whack the hell out of it. I was whacking that thing so hard to get it apart. It's on video, I think. I think I did video that, where I whacked the hell out of it getting this thing apart. And it never broke. I never had any problems with the breaking. It's only when I started making the batches thin to grab more detail. You can't do that with Ultra Cal 30. And Mitch at Biddy Mold Supply, Brick in the Yard, better known as, he told me right away, he says, oh no, you can't make thin batches of, you cannot make your Ultra Cal 30 thin. It has to be very thick. You know, it's got to be almost, it's got to be a little thicker than pancake batter. And that's what he told me. He says, if you're not making that stone dense enough, that's why you're getting, it's why it's breaking apart. So as you can see, like on this ear here, see, I have the seam back behind, and it worked on this side. It was okay. Didn't break there, but it broke along the back side, the front, the top, and even on this side of the ear broke off a little bit here, but it broke with very little pressure. So it had nothing to do with the amount of pressure that I was putting on it or where I put my seam on my ear, because I actually cut the ears. I took my knife and I cut along the ear, so all this came out with no problem. It actually pounded through pretty easily, but the mold didn't hold up. It just broke. You know, what are you going to do? So I learned my lesson here. Wait a minute, let me see. It looks so much better. Right eyebrow is kind of right on the money. Actually, it's meant to look like, well, it's hard to look at here because I'm so close to the sculpture. It makes the face look really distorted. It narrows the face. Let me read your comment again. I gotta. Okay, so I'm thinking this side you're talking about, this side's a little too high. No, it's actually not high. I can show you that in the videos. No, it's the attitude I want on it. I want this face right here, is to represent a little bit of the Halloween 5 poster art, Halloween 4 and 5 poster art that has a very mean look to it, but I'm not trying to replicate that exact mask, but I do like that attitude look. I don't like it looking like it just, I'm not into the other look at all. Now I've seen some pictures with Nick Castle wearing the exact original mask, and I didn't like the look of it. Now it might have been a you know, when I go on tomorrow night, I'll show you the pictures of what I do like and what I don't like, just to give you an understanding of what I'm trying to create. What I'm doing, I'm not changing. I'm not changing the positions of anything because I know that I have the eyebrow right where it needs to be. This is flat on this side, flat across. It's a little higher. See, it's higher here than this side. Let me see, am I on? It's higher here than this side, and this goes up just a little bit higher than this eyebrow. Not a lot, it's just a little bit higher. And that's the way it's supposed to. That's actually in the photo, in the actual photo of the, if you look at that poster art of Halloween 4 and 5, and take a look at that, and you tell me what you see then. If you want it to look like something else, I'm not going that direction. This is what that's the goal that I'm after. That's the look I want on my sculpture. I can't help it. It's just the way it is. It's the way I want it. So, yeah, what's up, man? Well, I demolded this thing and the mold broke again, but I found out why. I contacted my buddy Mitch at Brickany Yard, and I was making my plaster too thin. I mean, I wasn't even hammering on this that hard. You can see the mold's busted right over here. I didn't even hammer it that hard, and man, when it came apart, it destroyed my nose, the lips, got some gouges in the cheek, a couple gouges up in the top of the head. The undercuts of the eyes really got damaged pretty good this time. Yeah, there's a lot more damage to this, but I'll have it done in 24 hours to maybe 36 hours. I'll have it back to where it was. And, it is what it is. I don't get pissed off because I actually caused the issue. I thinned out my plaster too much. I thought you could do that with UltraCal to capture more detail, and it turned out I couldn't. I was, you have to make it a little thicker than pancake batter. It has to be a little thicker than that. And I was making it so runny where I was dripping off my brush to capture all the detail. And that, sure enough, is exactly where the breaking starts. It's right at the surface. And all of a sudden, and I'm tapping on this thing. I wasn't even tapping that hard. I was just tapping. All of a sudden, I was like, how the hell is that possible? Well, my other molds that I made, I used to make it real thick. And I just thought I was going to be able to capture more detail. I just made that little change of making more thinner batches on the first layers. And it weakened the mold significantly. So I learned a lesson today. I should have learned it the other day when I broke it the first time, but I actually thought it was bad plaster. That's what I thought was wrong with it. Nope. It turned out to be the same issue that I had the first time, and that was making the plaster too thin. Can't do that with UltraCal. You can do it with a HydroCal, but you can't do it with UltraCal. Hold on, you know what? I got to get out of this light. I can't see your text. Hold on, I'm going to have to get this out of here too. So, let me do this. Let me pick this up, put it on the chair. Back half came out good. Now, see what I was trying to do with the ears? The reason why I have this deep in here, I want the seam behind the ear. See where that seam falls? And when I cut the ear off, it came apart at the ears easily because it didn't really, that's not where it grabbed. But what happened was when I was hammering on that front half, it broke up in here and it broke right across that whole top. The ears actually just chipped with very little pressure. So it was really weird. Hold on. I need to get this guy inside the house before the sun hits it, because if the sun hits it, it's going to start melting my clay. So bear with me. Let me just put this up on the chair so I can grab it when I'm up on top of the steps. I'm just putting some clay. And I got to come out here and clean up this mess. That's when I was grinding, all that powder's all over the deck. I got to hose it down. Let the fun begin. Two busted molds. It figures. But you know what? Lesson learned. As soon as I get off the phone here, I'm going to call my plaster supply guy and go pick up some more Ultra Cal 30 from him, because he's not too far away. He's probably wondering how come I haven't been there all summer, because I bought like 6 bags from him. So I have plenty of Ultra Cal, but I don't want to try and reuse that same Ultra Cal just in case there's a problem with it. And it isn't my mix. So with that being said, I'll get the new stuff today. Sculpt the mold. I'll sculpt this later on tonight. I'll start working on it. And then I should be done this in about 36 hours. I'm going to make sure that it's really nice. Again, hold on, I'm going to have to hold this while I'm holding the... There we go. You're getting an upside down shot. Ah, boy. Back to the bench. And what a mess. Oh, you know what? I forgot to blow it off. I'm going to blow that off before I bring it inside. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce off of here, guys, to let you guys know that, you know, this is what happened. And I figure, and at least now I know what the problem is. So, no, you can't do that with Ultra Cal 30. Now, once you break the mold like that, you're going to see the little problems. And, you know, you got to remember, when the stone breaks like that, what happens is the Halloween goblin, yeah. When the stone breaks like that, little pieces end up disappearing. And I just, you know what? Nope, just fix it. Just fix the sculpture and bring it back to where it was. A Halloween goblin, that's why you backed out of mask making. I only do reholing now. Yeah, well, you know, I enjoy sculpting. I have looked at this. I have the picture. I mean, I'll tell you a little thing that I actually did, so I kind of know it's accurate. I actually took a stencil. I made a stencil on the screen, and just to make sure that I had the eyebrows in the exact right position, I took a stencil to the, wait a minute, was it that one that I used? I may not have used that one. Hold on. I might have used, yeah, I think this is the one I used right here. That's what I used. That's the face I'm after. All right, and hold on. That's the look I'm after. Yeah, it is a little higher than that. It's not much higher though. That's the actual sculpture. That's actually Nick. That's Nick Castle. That's Nick Castle wearing that mask. The original Halloween one. That's the actual mask. Screen used mask right there that I'm showing you. And hold on. The line away the brow actually has. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm trying to make out what you're saying. But look at the top of the cover masks. Well, this is the mask that I actually went from right here. This is kind of like what they used for the cover mask on the Halloween 4 and 5. This is the mask that I think that I was trying to replicate right here. And that's what I tried to do with that. Now those eyebrows are a little damaged. I can see this side just a tad bit a little too high, but the thing is, you're going straight across. Hold on, let me see something. Well, I superimposed it. That's yeah, it's it is so close. It's so close that I'd hate to split the hairs. You got to remember now, when I look at this, I'm looking at the height of here, all right, the height of the top of that, and then the height of the top of that. And this side is definitely higher. It's higher. You can see it. All right. And mine is higher too, but it's not, it's very, very, very close to where this is. So, yeah, I'm not going to go crazy trying to really change everything around just for under a 16th of an inch of and it's under that. It's literally a whisper higher, but that's not what I'm worried about. I've got bigger problems to pry here. I've got a bunch of other retooling to do. I'll see what I can do with the eyebrow and what I might do to get an accurate. No, I tried the stenciling. The stenciling doesn't work. You can't actually blow this up. I can blow this up on my screen. The right eyebrow. It's not. All right, I have this. All right, this is what I'm looking at here. All right, this comes in higher than this side. Let's look at that first because this goes downward a little bit more. All right, and then it goes a little bit higher here, but not real high. All right, now mine goes down just like they do with the. It's the same positioning. The left eye is on the money, and that right eye is not much higher than the left eye. No, it goes down because it's actually on the mask that way. You can see it. This is the shadowing, right? Here's the top of that eyebrow. That is definitely lower than the top of that eyebrow. They're two different heights. That is two different heights. You can see that as plain as day. This tucks into the nose a little bit deeper. It goes downward. That's how mine goes. It does the same thing. Top is higher. Yeah, this here. Yeah, right in here. This is just a little higher. And, you know, what I can do, I can't do it now because I got to get this thing. Ooh, we got some heavy rain coming our way. I just got notified. Yeah, I might lower it. I might lower it just a little bit, not much. Hold on. You know what I think the problem is too? I'm looking at the distance between the eye cut and the eyebrow. All right, let me see what I can show you here. Well, you know, one thing I don't question is my eyes. There's no doubt about that. I don't question my ability as far as Come on, let me close this. Let me look for that cover mask. Where did I put the cover mask? I don't even actually think I used the cover mask this time. Hold on. Nope, not that one. There we go. There's no way you're not going to tell me that that eyebrow is not higher. It's right there. This eyebrow is higher than this eyebrow. And you can see that as plain as day. That is the cover art for Halloween 5. There's no shadowing on this. You can see it plain as day. And this is even more dramatic than the original sculpture, than the actual mask. So, the tip of this eyebrow is down here. And if you ran that straight across, it's down that low. Look how much higher that is. Sorry, I just disagree with you. Well, I mean, I think I know what the problem is with my eyebrow here. All right. Now that I'm looking at this, I think what you're saying is this is more flat going across the top here. And this is a little more round. It's a little bit more round. It kind of like it's a little bit more rounded. Yeah, I can do that. I can fix that because it looks a little too flat. That's the problem. That is the issue. It's not the height. It's because of the eyebrow itself is not rounded enough. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Take off vision. Yeah, I can go along with that because this is too flat. See what it is? I made this real flat here, and that's the way that's supposed to be. It's supposed to be flat, not flatter. And if you look in some of the still shots of the movie, when he's looking at, I'll give you, you know what? Let me see if I can find that one still shot with behind the scenes photo. All right, now all right, the left side is when Nick Castle wore it. The right side is Dick Warlock. You can see, even when him wearing it, this is a more rounded eyebrow. And this is the actual screen used mask. All right, I'm kind of going for this look more than that look, because I am going to make this mask, but later. If I can ever get this molded correctly. Yeah, so I'll fix that. I'll fix that eyebrow. Yeah, what the hell? It looks a little too flat. Yep. Looks a little too flat. Now that I'm saying that, that ain't going to be that big of a deal to fix. It's just a little bit of a curvature to it, that's all. The other side's on the money. Yeah, I'll get the right one straightened out. Rounded. That's what it is. It's the rounding. It's not so much that it's higher. It is higher. The eyebrow is higher. but it's because of the shape of the eyebrow that it's giving the illusion. It's giving the illusion that this part right here is higher, but it really kind of isn't. It's kind of straight across. It's kind of straight across, and same here. It's the same. This is probably at the same height as this end here. It just, because of the way this goes down and a little bit rounded, that's why it gives you the impression that that side is higher. All right, so, okay. Yeah, so this is the screen use mask. These are the things that I try to use. I don't like using, like, I don't try to copy anybody else's mask, or, I'm not trying, if it's like I said, if I want to copy somebody else's work, you might as well just buy their stuff, so yeah, I can fix that eyebrow. Ain't no biggie. Thank you, Takeoff Vision. Yeah, you're right. It is rounder. And now that I'm looking at this, I can see that I made that too flat. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that. That's okay. No big deal. I got that in the bag now. I'll have that fixed. Now I got to get all the rest of it fixed. Holy crap, man! That's gonna be intense work on this. Yeah, well, I'm not even really trying to, because the poster mask I just showed you is still not as accurate to these masks. It's not, well, this one here is the one that poster art's supposed to replicate, of Halloween 4 and 5. But that's somebody's painting of the mask, and they did a damn good job of it. But it's still not exactly like this mask here. Yeah, it's still got, no, Takeoff Vision's right though. It is flat. I can see it now. Now I'm looking at it. It's definitely too flat, the eyebrow. See, I was looking at the height. I was looking at this part right here, on my sculpture. I was looking at the height of it right here, and I have it just a little too high. I'm gonna have to bring it down so where it's the same height, all right? But I have to round this more. This has to be a little bit rounded, just a little bit, just a touch. As you can see it in here. I'll get it. I will get it. It's the one good thing about doing these retools is every time I retool it, there's just one little thing that I find, or somebody finds, or somebody sees and points it out to me, and that I just ignored, or didn't really throw that much, I guess, observation to it. And thank you so much. I will, because I couldn't figure out what you were talking about at first. That's what I couldn't get to what you meant. But we'll get it now. Yeah, man. I will definitely get this right. Yeah, I have to. I'm not trying to replicate this, though, to a T. I'm not trying to give you that exact mask. I'm trying to, what I was trying to shoot for? I think my real is, I'm trying to do my mask as though nobody's wearing it. All right. I didn't want Nick's version. I didn't want Dick's version. I wanted the mask as though what it would look like if nobody had it on. Nick, when he had a long face, and this was a kid's mask. Now, I have a picture. If you go to my Facebook, me and Dick Warlock sitting together at the Monster Vision. You have to check that out, guys. And this mask, Dick stretched out the original mask. And if you look how small Dick Warlock's head is compared to mine when we're sitting next to each other, I'm 5'9". I'm a big guy, though. I'm big. If you look at the difference in the size of our heads sitting right next to each other, man, that mask was small. To stretch that out like that mask was really small. So that tells me that, you know, when Nick wore it, he stretched it long. And I'll tell you how you can sell. This photograph here is so cool because a lot of people don't realize they did this on purpose. When they shot these two, when they put these two pictures together, they lined them up perfectly at the neckline. See how they're perfectly at the same height at the neckline? And they're trying to show you the difference in the mask depending on who had it on. That was the purpose of this photograph, all right? Nick Castle had a long face. Look how much lower the chin is compared to his, all right? Dick Warlock had a very wide face and stretched it out this way, but he had a shorter head. And that's why you can definitely see the difference in this picture here. The masks are actually lined up at the neckline perfectly. And with that being said, you can see even the hairline's a little bit different now because he widened that mask. And look how much narrower this is. But this was a very small mask. The original mask was a very small mask. It was a kid's mask, and I know it because I remember it when I was a kid, about 13 years old. I used to work in a place. Well, I used to help out under the table at a place called the Fun Shop, and it was a magic shop. And they carried Don Post mask, and they had the Shatner. They had the Captain Kirk mask there, not thousands, but hundreds of them that they sold there. So I've seen this mask. This mask was actually small. It was a small mask. So yeah. So yeah, I got some work to do. I'm not sculpting this today, though. I'm gonna definitely. I'm gonna probably move on. I'm gonna leave this picture up, though. I think I'm gonna now that I got this picture up, I think I'll leave it up, and I'll round out that eyebrow. I'll fix that eyebrow. So don't sweat it. Take off vision. I will take care of that issue. Yeah, no, he's right. No, take off vision's right about that. You know, so look, I like corrective. I like the criticism because if I oversee something or if I'm not seeing something, you know, remember I've only been doing this for 2 years myself. You know, I'm a good artist. I'm not saying that I'm great, you know, but I also don't have the experience, and I haven't seen thousands and thousands of pictures of this thing. Like, you know, all right, let me try to give you a better example. Nick Mulpagano, right? He's been doing this for 15, 20 years. I'm not even sure how long he's been doing it, but a long time. I've been doing it for 2 years. He's researched this mask so many ways, so many different pictures, so many different things that he's done to really hone in to make it really good. You know what I mean? So I'm new, you know what I mean? I'm just like, you know, I'm just trying to replicate what I see. But every time I learn something new about this thing, it changes your perspective of how it's supposed to look. My first mistakes when I first started making this mask, my eye cuts underneath, under here, they were bulged out too far. In other words, they were dead even with this. And that's not the way that's supposed to be. The eye cuts are sunk in on the bottom. They're deeper in. And that's what causes the shadowing. Oh, thank you, Halloween Goblin. I mean, you know, I'm new and I'm humble. Look, I'm 60 years old. I have nothing left in life to prove. Everything I've ever wanted to do, everything I've ever tried to do, I've succeeded at, pretty much. Not everything, I would say, but everything that I really, really wanted to succeed at, I try. You know, I keep pushing until I get it right. And it's always better to have a lot more eyes on your product, on your project, or whatever you're doing than just your own eyes. You know, and all of a sudden somebody points something out. And once I figured out what takeoff vision was saying, then I looked at my eyebrow and all of a sudden I realized, I'm looking at it like, oh, wow, you know what? It's not that it's too high on one spot or too low on the other spot. It was because the eyebrow shape itself was not rounded enough. It looked flat. It looks flat. And now that I understand what he was getting at, and he's right, because I'm looking at the actual mask right here. And now that I'm looking at this mask, I'll tell you why the illusion that this makes this look higher is because the distance between the eye cut here to the bottom of the eyebrow here, and then look at the distance between this eye cut and the top of that eye, right in here. Look how much difference there is. And that's why it gives you the illusion that the eyebrow's higher. So, with that being said, I have that part correct. I just have that eyebrow just not rounded enough, and maybe it needs to be a little bit lower on that top, right in here. Because I think this is exactly the same height. Looks like it's the same height. I love this photo. You're an expert on the Halloween 2 mask. Then I am the Halloween 1. I'm not an expert on any of these masks, trust me. I'm no expert. I think what it is, when you've only been doing it for 2 years, how can you claim to be anything? I'm a good sculptor. I'm finding that out. I've never sculpted in clay in my life. I used to do relief carving in wood. I don't have anything that I have laying around here because everything I had, it's sold quick. Because usually, any kind of projects that I did like that, they were sold before I had them finished. Because they're expensive to do, and sometimes they take up to 2 years to do a really good scenery. But there's no room for error, that's why my eye is pretty keen. But you're only as good as, like, if I have a two-dimensional picture in front of me and I'm just replicating the picture, that's simple to do. I can duplicate the picture perfect. I can do the picture perfect on the sculpture. I can make that exactly look like this. But because this is three-dimensional and that's two-dimensional, you've got other things to figure out, because that mask is not going to look right. When you change the angle of the mask, all of a sudden, it's like Nick Malpagano. When he did the 13 mask, I love the way it looks dead on. But when you turn it on the side, the profile doesn't look quite right. No problem, man. Like I said, it's hard to be an expert in something like this because of the fact that there's so many variables that go into studying this picture. You got to look at this picture and you go, okay, well, what's that going to look like from this angle? What's that going to look like from that angle? And all we have is the shadows that are revealing in the picture. It's not giving you a really good look. It's not giving you you only have a straight on shot. We have other shots that reveal different angles of the mask, but you also have to remember, and this is something I found out later on, that there were several masks that they used. They had the hero mask, all right, and then they had the stunt masks. I think there was like 3 other stunt masks that they used in the original Halloween 1. Halloween 2, they only had the 1 mask. So it's, if you can get a better shot, if you're trying to actually make it look like it looks with Dick Warlock wearing it, it's just wider. It's a wider face. That's why I love this picture, because it really shows this is Nick Castle and this is Dick Warlock. And if you see, the necklines are lined up perfectly. And that's why they did that on purpose. They want that neckline to be right on the money so you can see the difference in how it changed the shape of the face when each one of those guys wore it. Nick Castle has a longer face. Look how much lower that chin is compared to where Dick's is. The neckline's still the same, but look where the chins are. All right. Look where, look, all right, look how wide the eyes are, how wide the head is. Nick's mask all lagging on the profiles. Nag's cover mask is 10 times better. Yeah, I don't criticize people's work. I really don't. I'm not trying to criticize Nick Malpagano. Here's what it is. Here's what I'm trying to say, because I never finished my point with Nick Malpagano's 13 mask. He, you don't really have another shot of this particular photograph of this mask. This is all we have to work with, and to get that mask to look exactly perfect face view, maybe there was a reason why he had to have it shaped the way it was to get it to look like this, looking at it dead on. Maybe he couldn't make it rounder. I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know. And I just know that these things are. This mask is extremely hard to do. Anybody that attempts doing a Michael Myers mask, God bless, man, because it is a very, very, very hard sculpture to do, and it's because we don't have the mask. We don't actually have that mask anymore. It's gone. It's dead. It died a couple years back. I mean, I know it still exists, but it's so deformed now it doesn't even look the same. But it's just really tough. It's tough to replicate this mask. It really is. A lot of people don't know what it's like until they actually start sculpting. When you sculpt and then somebody's. I listen to people that sculpt more than I do the people that don't, and it's because their hands are dirty. They know how difficult it is to replicate, and if they're telling me something. I don't think so. I don't think so, because the whole purpose of doing the Nick Castle versus Dick Warlock was to show the width, how much wider the face is. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Is there any way to really know who's underneath that mask? I just know that they were trying to show the difference in this photograph of Nick Castle versus Dick Warlock. But what I am noticing is the dirt is still. Well, no. You know why? I think. I don't know. It's hard to really tell. I don't see the dirt up here as much. I don't see the dirt like it is over here. See the dirt that's on there? That's definitely Dick Warlock. You don't see it here. It's shadowing. It's shadowing, but it's not dirt. So wait a minute, what'd you say there? Proportional dividers? You ever used? No, I don't even know what that is. Proportional dividers. Explain. Yeah, well, I mean, you can see that this is. All right, look. This is what I'm trying to get at. The neck, the collar are lined up perfect. All right. The neck is lined up perfect. The mask at the bottom are lined up perfect. So why is this chin so much lower than this chin? All right. Why is this face so much narrower than this face? Why are these eye cuts wider here, stretching down, than these eyes, because this mask is being stretched out in this direction. So these eyes are definitely shaped differently, eye cuts. And you can really see it on this eye cut. Look at the difference. All right, and you can see it in the eyebrows. The eyebrows are showing, and this side and this mask has dirt all over it. This mask doesn't. I'm just showing you the obvious things that I see in this, the two masks. You know, you can't see now. It could be lighting. It could be lighting. But what doesn't make sense to me is this shot is obviously brighter. It's a brighter shot than this shot. Why I know that that's true is because you can see the shadowing in here, in the nose, right behind the nose. This is washed out. You can't see the shadowing in that nose there. You know, I have a signed autographed picture that Dick Warlock gave me that gives you a real. This is the picture that Dick Warlock gave me and signed it. So it really shows this was Dick Warlock wearing it. And what I found pretty interesting is his jumpsuit was blue. It wasn't green. In H2, that was definitely blue. Maybe it's bluish green. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. But this was the picture that he autographed for me. I zoomed in on it. What's this now? Wait a minute. Guys, a guy says that nobody had the mask on and that it was laying flat on the floor when it was painted. Yeah, I don't know. I could not. I'm not going to argue your points because I don't know. I just talked to Dick Warlock himself a couple weeks ago and asked him some questions and nothing too brainiac. I said, well, you know, what's the best picture you have that actually shows you really good? Now, it's shame, this looks a little grainy because I zoomed in on the picture. But it's an autographed picture that he signed. Actually, this is my brother's copy. He got the same copy I did. And yeah, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't know. I just know one thing. I'm trying to do the best I can. That's it, you know. And every time somebody tweaks me a little bit, it was spruce green, I guess, but this picture. My daughter has my copy. I gave my copy to my daughter, my signed autograph picture, because she couldn't go to the event. So I gave her that, and I have Dick Warlock's autograph on my mask. It is spruce green. I got to write that down. The actual screen used, yeah, you know what? When I'm looking at this, you can see some green highlights in here. You know, maybe it's just the shadowing. It made it look bluish in this photograph, but you can see some green highlights in here. So there's a good chance that you're right. They are green. The lighting can really change the way this looks and the way it's photographed. Yeah, I'll have to let my brother know because he's going to order blue ones. And I'm like, he's trying to say that it's blue on there. I said, no, I can see there's a little green in that photo. That's pretty cool. Well, The only thing that doesn't make sense with that, when you say that it was spray painted on the floor, well, no, that could be right if it was laying flat, because it was a thin casted mask. So if it was laying flat, the chin in here would have been tucked, over top of the neck area. And if they spray painted it like that, straight across, the whole neck area never got any paint on it. So here's coveralls, huh? Could be. Get notifications go away. Yeah, I'm getting reflection too off the screen, so you're not getting a really good picture. But you can really see some pretty good detail in that mask. The way he, this picture that he gave us, it was really detailed. It's a still shot from the actual film, I think, film footage. So I'll learn everything over where. Wait a minute, what I missed it. I missed what you said. Hold on. Halloween Goblin. You'll learn everything over there. Hold on, let me back up to see what you're saying. Yeah, I can go along with that, because that explains why the neck didn't get spray paint on it. Maybe that's how I'll spray paint my mask from now on. I'll spray paint it laying flat. Wait a minute. Well, I don't think anybody would have had the mask on when they were spray painting it. I'm reading over you guys' messages. Yeah, this is the photo that Dick Warlock gave me. My copy of it is in my daughter's possession. She put it on her wall. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We weren't there. That's the problem. We're only going as, can only gather as much information as available to us. Have I ever used proportional dividers, John? You're going to have to, Steve, please explain that. Yeah, I love Nick Malpagano. He's such a great guy. He really is. And I'm not busting on his work, because trust me, he taught me a lot. He showed me a lot, and he shared with me, secrets that he learned over the years. So I have to be, I'm being respectful. I'm not criticizing his work out of being mean. That's not my intention at all. And as a matter of fact, I'll bet he can defend the reason why his profile doesn't look quite right. But I can honestly think, I think that the 13 mask, the reason why the profile doesn't look quite right is because in order to get that exact poster art look as a dead-on shot, it's a two-dimensional look. It's definitely a two-dimensional shot. Where here, even this picture, I can see the shape. I can see that this tucks around. You can see all the shadowing. You can really see the shape of it. So, and Yeah, I mean, you know, I just think that this, when it comes to Lex and Beats, maybe it is. I don't. Maybe it is both of them. Maybe there's both pictures. But I know. I remember when I downloaded that picture, it was to show you. They put those pictures together on purpose to show you the difference in what it looked like with the two different actors wearing it. That's the way it actually explained it on the photo when I downloaded that picture. So let me look up all your. Holy mackerel! I didn't know you guys texted all this. All right, I'm going back. Was the molding successful? No, I had it broken. It broke on here, going along the edge of the ear. Yeah, going along the edge. I was having problems with the other type of mold. I already know what the problem is now. Now that I've reached out to, it's too angry looking. I don't know. I think the actual sculpture. And there's also hints of on my sculpture. There's also hints of the flashback mask. Like I bulged out the eyes over here. That's on the flashback mask. This is why it's giving you a lot more features. This sculpture that I'm doing because it's a combination mask. It's not all one type of mask. I wanted I want to be able to sculpt that back into a flashback mask at one point without altering the shape of the head. The stunt mask in H2, which got the bloodlines later. I was wondering how much that mask was used in the movie. I have no idea. I don't know. I have all the movies. I even have like Halloween 25 years that does all the interviews and stuff. I have every interview that's available that I've that's been part of a DVD collection. I even have one of 20,000 videos that were made that had the first Blu-ray HD version of Halloween 1, and it came in a box that has a rubber mask on the front of literally a rubber mask right on it. And I forget what number I have, but there's only 20,000 of them made, and I have one. So burned what? I'm not sure what you mean. Burned. Oh yeah, well I don't think it was the hero mask that they burned though. That was one of the stunt masks. I think this was the actual hero mask because that really looks. I don't think they destroyed the hero mask. Let me see if I can find that DVD that has a lot of extras on it. Man, oh man, I don't feel like doing this today. After doing all that mold work, I'm like, demolding that. I got to get a shower. Let me see. I'm walking through my kitchen, guys. Let me see where that collection DVD is.
How do you expect today to unfold when it comes to this affidavit?
Okay.
Yeah, so to answer that question, you have to understand what is likely in the affidavit.
Okay, yeah, here it is. '30th Anniversary Chromatic Set. And it shows you right here. There's 20,000 of these made. And I have number 13,108. Yeah, I can't remember what year this came out, this collector's piece here. This was a collector's edition. This gave you all the extras.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about customers that you do not want to
A
work
lot
with.
of
In this one,
behind the scenes, 25 years of terror.
And I'm going to show you some of the red flags that came up along the way. So that
Halloween 4, Halloween 5. It had that in there with that collection. You know, it's pretty cool. You know, it's a good collector's piece. This is a latex mask that's inside the box. So I got a pretty big collection of DVDs, I'd say. Put that one back. And I'll tell you, I'll give a good horror flick, you guys. That's pretty spooky. Beyond the Door from like 1972, 73. If you like, it's more like it was a possession movie. It's pretty creepy. All right. And there's my Halloween Kills collector's piece, Blu-ray, also 4K. And I got my 4K copies of Halloween now, and yeah, I got all the interviews. Trust me, I got every interview that was ever put together. So I've seen, like, and there was one interview. The guy that painted it, he had the long curly hair. I can't remember what his name was. Damn it, I'm terrible with that. But he kind of contradicted himself a little bit in one of the interviews. How did he say? What was that? And I'm trying to remember what it was. What it was that he said in one interview, and then when he was with, what was it? I'm trying to remember what it was. Wasn't that important, I guess, huh? Senior moment. Could be. I don't know. I'm reading your comments, guys. I got to back up quite a bit because you guys are going off. You guys are going off. Yeah, I'm just reading all the comments. It was also used in the schoolyard scene in 78. That's right. Now I'm going backwards on this, so. Yeah, I mean, I've seen Halloween 2 along, you know, hold on, let me get my chair positioned right, so I'm putting the phone down a sec. I need my damn camera stand. So, don't matter what we're looking at here, do we? I'm trying to just look at the, I'm just reading your comments. Was it the Malone? I'm not sure what you meant. Was it the Malone Kirk? You guys must know a lot more about this stuff than I do, because I'm like I said, I'm not even going to pretend to know what you guys are talking about right now. The Malone? That's right, Vision. It was the Malone. I don't know what Malone is. Malone Kirk. I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm just looking as many pictures as I can get a hold of, and trying to replicate what I think is a good Michael Myers mask. I guess it can't be perfect because we don't actually have. I don't think anybody's mask. Whenever everybody makes these masks, you have to remember we're all different artists. All right, we all want to have our own little spin to the mask. I don't want to replicate somebody else's artwork. In other words, we're all trying to go off of the screen used mask. All right, we're all trying to copy a rendition of that. But I don't want my mask to look like a Ken Hertland or whatever. I don't want it to look like a Nick Malpagano mask. I don't want it to look like a 13 mask that he made. I don't want it to look like anybody's mask. I'm not making my sculpture to look like somebody else's work. I'm trying to make my sculpture look like the screen used mask. Now, my version of the screen used mask is I'm trying to replicate the mask as though nobody was wearing it. I didn't want to do a Dick Warlock. I didn't want to do a Nick Castle. I wanted in between. And that's what I've created, something in between the two. The eyes are just a little bit wider. The head's a little bit wider. But yet you still have a little bit of the stretch. So it's kind of in between. It's like somebody took the mask off. Both characters took the mask off, and this is what it looks like without anybody in it. That's what I tried to do. And the other little touches I added were widen the scowl a little bit here on the outside to make it look a little bit like to bring that into the flashback, because these points right here, this scowl part right here, if you look at the flashback mask, they're bulged out a little bit here. And I brought that in. I'm 38 years old and feel like I'm 74. Hey, I'm 60 and I feel like I'm dead. I feel like I'm hanging on by threads here. So, wait till you get to 60. You think 38's bad? Oh. 38, I was actually 38. I injured my back 2 years prior to that. So it was 34. I was playing semi-pro football at the age of 34. Yeah, I know. And you know what? That goes true. And until and even all the way up to 60, time just goes faster and faster and faster. Before 1 minute you're counting days, next minute you're counting months, next minute you're counting years, then it's decades. And when you count the decades, each decade goes faster and faster and faster. It's like, shit, I just turned 40. Now, what happened to that? Well, I'm 60. That was 20 years ago. 20 years went by like a blink. And it's unbelievable. So fast. It goes fast, especially when you have kids. If you're married and you got kids, man, the time really takes off on you. And like my kids are grown now; they're almost 30 years old. So, I enjoyed them while I had them. Immature? I'm immature. I mean, my wife looks at me and she goes, "Why are you so obsessed with making this mask?" Well, because I was an artist my whole life, and I never had the chance to. I've always said one day I'm going to try and attempt making this mask. Well, COVID hit. COVID came along, and basically I thought, oh man, I'm going to be out of work. So I decided, you know what? Let's do this. Let's try this. And I broke out. I bought the clay. I bought the armature. I bought everything. I needed tools. And I got silly. And I said, you know what? Let me see if I'm any good at this. I guess I'm not too bad. I'm not perfect. And I only got 2 years of it under my belt now, because I started this thing the day, I'm telling you, was within the week. I think COVID shut us down in March of 2020. Was it March 2020? Something like that. And I think April 1st is when I started actually sculpting this Myers adventure, and it has been a constant retool ever since. Constantly retooling it over and over and over again, and making new molds. You know, uh, to get it more accurate, more accurate, more accurate. You know, so it's 2 years, 2 years of sculpting to get it to where it's at now. And I'm sure there's people out there that are a lot faster, been doing it a lot longer, and they've studied these pictures a far lot longer than I have, and they have a lot more knowledge about the mask, like you guys. You guys have a ton of knowledge on this stuff. I don't have that much knowledge on it. Although I was 16 years old when the Halloween one came out. I took my cousins with me, and like an idiot, I sat between the two girls. Now, that was not smart. The reason why it wasn't so smart is because both their fingernails were buried into my arms, and I literally got up to go to the bathroom and found both my arms bleeding from their fingernails. Um, it's funny. I went up to, when I came back from going to the bathroom and getting some popcorn and stuff. They were huddled together. They were huddled, and oh man. Yeah, no, and exactly. You want your own take on the mask. You don't want to replicate. I'm not going to try and replicate Nick's work. You know, Nick Mulpagano, when he was making the 13 mask, all right, he saw my mask and he saw which direction I was going for. I didn't know that the 13 existed at the time, and he wasn't sharing that information. He wasn't exposing it yet. He didn't want to share it. So he kind of reached out to me. He says, "Yo," he says, "I've been working on something for like 10 months right now, and I only started probably like 2 months prior to. I was retooling it, you know, and I was actually shooting for that cover art, you know, mask. I was going to make that same mask. I was going to try and do the replication of that mask, and it would have looked like the 13 mask. So Nick's like, he said it without saying it. He kind of just went, "Yo, I'm kind of doing this mask already." You know, and he didn't say you may not want to do that, you know, but he knows how I feel about making replicas of somebody else's work. So I know that it's still like the cover art and it's still the copy of the original copy. But then I started thinking, you know what? I don't want mine to look exactly like his work. I don't want to do that. So what I thought of is I said, you know what? Let me take bits and pieces of the different masks that I like, and even the flashback mask, you know, and implement all those different things that I liked about the Michael Myers mask and made it my own. And that's what this is. This is not that mask. This is not any of the masks. Exactly. You know, if you like the way it looks, then, you know, reach out to me, get one. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so you guys are talking to each other. I get it. Yeah, you want to put your own spin on stuff. You don't want to replicate somebody else's work. Even when Nick Mulpagano did that fire mask, I did a fire mask. All right, but I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a different way on the hair. Do you guys want to see that? You want to see the fire mask that I did? I used his paint scheme. I do like the paint scheme. The funny thing was, it's funny that he did that because I was actually thinking, yeah, wouldn't that be a cool mask to do as an overhaul? You know, if I can get a hold of a Kills mask. Well, I did it. And let me see. Let me just go get it. Let's go get it. Let me just show you to you. I put artificial hair on the mask. I didn't like the way, you know, the mask looked with the white latex paint, and then you had to paint it orange, and it just didn't look right on my mask for some reason. I didn't like it. So I just said, well, why don't I try and find some orange hair? And I did. I found some orange hair. And I put different shades of reds and yellows and browns in it. But this is the fire mask. Only I put an artificial hair in there. Put artificial hair. And it has some black in it. I don't particularly like that, but I melted the artificial hair to make it look like it was really melted. So, but you can see all the details are really cool in this mask. So this is the fire mask. And this was Nick Malpagano's, techniques that I used. Details were really nice. They came out really well. Even all the cracks and all the lines, they're all in there. You can see every little detail in that mask. So, and that was a rub out. That's how I did that. I did that with an alcohol rub out. Now this is just the reverse. This side, you get a dry brush of charcoal, and you dry brush the surface over top of the red. The red's underneath, and then you put the dark black in over top. So that's basically it. I don't like the hairline. I gotta fix this. But that's because this artificial hair, and it's like stiff as a rock. Doesn't like latex masks. It took a lot of extra glue to get that down. So, but what I'm gonna do is, under the right light, you can't see that hairline anyway. I'm gonna shade that in with different colors to make it blend in so you can't see it. You won't see that glue line. I'm still kind of not done that mask because I'm not done with the colors and hair. I'm not quite done yet. So, but I'm in no rush because I'm not selling that mask. I'm just keeping it. And I'll show you the hair that I bought, that I did that hair with. It's an artificial hair. It's actually just nylon. I think that's all it is. Hold on. Here it is right here. Come on. See this stuff? See orange and black? See orange and black. Now this is a really bright orange. You know, that's why you have to shade it with all the different color to get rid of that real bright, fiery orange. But this is artificial. It was cheap. It's cheap stuff. It's cheap hair. But like I said, I changed it. I gave it a little twist. I didn't want to do exactly what Nick did, you know. The paint scheme is pretty much the same, but then that's how it is on the poster art. So, what are you going to do? So, guys, you know where I'm at with this. I ain't too cool. Trust me, my cool days are way past me, man. I'm way past those days. I'm 60 years old. Cool left me about 15 years ago. I'm just a nice guy, that's all. That's what I try to be, just a nice guy. And I don't let things worry me. I don't, like, even like the way this demolded and I screwed up, the mold broke. My only thing is I just want to make sure I don't repeat my mistakes. And that's what I'm more upset about than the actual mold breaking, is I repeated the same damn thing twice, but didn't understand what I was doing wrong. And I said, I'm not going to make this mistake again. So I reached out to Mitch at brickanyard.com. That's where I get all my mold supplies and everything. It's Biddy Mold. You can look them up under Biddy Mold or Brick in the Yard. And Mitch is he's a great guy, and he's a chemist, I think, more than anything else, and he really knows his stuff. And he pointed out the reason why my molds are breaking is because I was making it too thin. I was making the what's that? I missed that. Yeah, press man. I mean, it's what it's all about. You just keep pushing. You keep working at it. You don't let people. I don't like to argue with people. I won't argue with people. That's not my agenda at all. I want to listen to their opinion, and I want to try to figure out exactly what they're trying to say. And sometimes when you're trying to criticize this kind of artwork, when you're criticizing, I always try to look at it as constructive criticism. That's the right word. Constructive criticism, I invite but when somebody's just saying, it looks like shit, it's just, I don't like it, well, okay, it's great. You don't like it, move on to the next guy, please. I don't have time for that kind of nonsense. But constructive criticism, you always want to have more people looking at your, especially collectors. Collectors are spending a lot of money for these masks, and I want their opinions. I want, okay, what don't you like? What do you like? And I mean, yeah, right now it's it's a somebody beat the crap out of Michael. His face is wrecked. But maybe this is how Kills should have looked. Or Ends. Maybe this is the new Ends mask. What do you think, guys? Yeah, so I try to create, I like taking corrective criticism, because constructive criticism, because it's always better to have more eyes on something. And you guys really know your shit when it comes to all this history and all the stuff that's going on. I never really grabbed into all that. I mean, I'm a big fan, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be making this mask if I wasn't a huge fan of Michael Myers. You know what I mean? I just wouldn't be doing it. Who would? Um, but it was an old thing that I always wanted to try. I was 16 years old, seen the movie in the theaters on, I think, the day of its release, in our area anyway. Yeah, Ends concept mask. There you go. There you go. I'm gonna call him Dumbo with his messed up ears. Yeah, he's wicked, all right. He's a mess right now. I got some work to do over tonight and tomorrow. I might even just wait until tomorrow. I'm just kind of tired, and I know my friend's still going to be coming over here soon, so I got to get off of here like real soon. Yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy day. Yeah, demold this thing at 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever time it was, and mold busted into pieces again. And all because once I called Mitch and he said, yo, you got to make sure that batter's thick. It's got to be a thick, it's three to one ratio when it comes to plaster and water, when it comes to UltraCal 30. And I wasn't even close to that. I'm going to say I was less than half. I was like, 50-50 at best, at any given time. Plaster was way too thin. That's why it was brittle. Won't happen again. I won't make that mistake again. So when my buddy comes over, I'm going to take a ride over and see if I can't buy some UltraCal 30 from the guy I get my supplies from, just to be on the safe side in case the bucket is bad. In case the plaster is bad, I am going to start with a fresh bag. So I am going to bounce off of here because I got to get showered. I got this dust all over me and everything, and I want to go get that plaster. So I want to thank you guys for joining me here. And all I know, I just did nothing but bullshit with you guys. And at least you guys all got to talk to each other too. Yeah, synthetic orange, synthetic. It was cool. It was different. It was not like it's it's not great. Yeah, my name's John. Yeah, Halloween Goblin. My name's John. Yeah, so yeah, if you watch all my old videos, you'll see the progress. I mean, that first mask I made was horrible, but I only. It's funny. I did it in 30 days, and I thought, man, that was a long time sculpting that. Well, Nick, I reached out to Nick Malpagano. I said, Nick, how long does it take you to do from start to finish, a really good uh, Michael Myers mask? And he says, it takes me anywhere from 10 months to a year to get it accurate. And I went, oh, big like eye opener. Oh, I only spent 30 days and I didn't like I didn't like the result, you know. And he says, yeah, well, that's the reason. You only spent 30 days. You need to work a lot longer and a lot harder. And you need to break out every possible picture that's out there available. Still shot. I actually take still shots from the movie. Like I'll watch the movie right on my computer here and then freeze the frame and try to rock it in the position of where I'm trying to replicate something. I want to get the picture the best I can. I've done that. I've done that doing this sculpture. And that's why I was able to get it, a lot more closer. Okay, wait a minute. The DB, what is the DB2? What's that stand for? Takeoff Vision, DB2. Oh yeah, there's going to be when I do look. Here's my plan. This is going to be, but it's going to be all from this sculpture. All right, 3 masks are going to be from this sculpture, and that is the 78, the H40, and the kills. That's going to be based off this sculpture. Then I'm going to more than likely do an H2. No, that's right. I'm doing my concept of ends. I'm going to do a concept mask of ends, uh, and it's going to be not. It's not going to be screen accurate, but it's going to be based from this sculpture. And then I'm going to go back to doing an H2. All right. Then I'm going to go back to doing an original H2, and that'll change the sculpture. And then from there, I'm going to do a flashback mask. And that'll be it for Michael Myers. So there's going to be 6 masks in total that I'm going to do. And then I'm done with Michael Myers. I mean, I'm not going to keep living here in Michael Myers. I love Michael Myers, but this is not what I really got into the mask. I got into the mask making business to do custom stuff too. I want to do my own zombie mask and scarecrow masks and werewolf masks and stuff, but I'm not going to be copying anybody's movie. It's going to be my own stuff because I don't want to have to deal with, worrying about copyright infringement. I don't have any plans to do a Freddy mask. First of all, Freddy, I think, is a lousy latex mask. The only way I would own a Freddy mask is if it was in silicone. Silicone is the best way to go with Freddy. Now, if you want to do you can stick with latex when it comes to, come on, Chainsaw Massacre guy. Yeah, you can. That's a latex mask. Jason can be a latex mask underneath of the hockey mask, but I really don't want to tackle any of those guys because I don't want to have to deal with the copyright stuff, man. It's bad enough we got to deal with it with Michael Myers. And you're limited to how many of these masks you can sell. You can't mass produce them. Uh, if I make a mask that's custom, and all of a sudden somebody says, like, let's say Spirit of Halloween, man, we love that sculpture. Would you sell us the mold? Sure, for a lot of money, you know. Yeah, sure, I'll sell it to you. You know, I'll do that, but it's going to be a lot of money because there's a lot of time wrapped up in doing these sculpts. You know, anywhere from, well, like you said the one guy took 3 years to do it. That's a long time, man. All right, Halloween Goblin, you guys have a great one. You have a great day. Pipe Master, another disaster. The mold broke again. Now I've got a lot more work to do to this to fix them. But I reached out to Mitch to find out what the problem was because I barely smacked on that stone to get this off to separate it. I didn't hit it that hard, and it started breaking like crazy. I'm like, what the hell is wrong? I thought that there was something wrong with the, like, you know, the plaster itself. So I called Mitch up at Biddy Mold Supply, brick in a yard, and Mitch is like, oh, tell me you didn't do the thin mix. I said, yeah. I said, because I want a detail. He says, yeah, I got to fix one of my videos. He says, I show doing one thing, but I'm explaining to people that the UltraCal 30 has to be a very thick mix. You cannot mix it the same way. So it's actually a 3-to-1 ratio with the plaster versus water. And the reason why my mold was so brittle is because, well, it's one of two things. It's he seems to think it was because I made the mix too thin, and I know I made it thin. Remember when I was doing it on video, I actually was literally dripping and it was running all over the mask. I made the batch really thin. The first 2 or 3 layers were thin. It was the last layer that I put on thick. So that's why it was broke. That's why it broke. Now, if it was bad plaster, I'm going to resolve that problem today because I'm going to go get some new plaster from the guy that I get my plaster from, and he's right up the road. He's not that far away from me, so I'm going to go get like 2 bags of it, and I'll make the mold again. I just have to spend at least 30 hours, probably. I'm going to say about 36 hours. I'll have this thing back to normal, and then I'll do it again. So I'm probably looking at Sunday before I get this mold ready for mold again. Only this time, at least I know what the issue is. I made the plaster too thin. At least I took the time this time and reached out to Mitch at Brick in the Yard, and he straightened me right out. Because I'm like, this is driving me crazy. I know that the other molds that I've done, I've never had that issue where I was whacking the hell out of the one mold that I made, and it didn't break. Man, I was just tap, 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 tap. I was like, what the hell? Tap, 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 tap. Another spot it broke. I'm like, oh, I'm done. It's over. It broke all the way through the whole face. I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you real quick. Why not? And then I'm going to jump off of here because I got my buddy coming over here at some point. He was supposed to come over at 1 o'clock. I'm not even sure what time it is. What time is it, guys? East Coast time. Pipe Master, what time is it? He's down from North Jersey, and we're going to go hang out for the day. But I got to go get more plaster while he's over here with me. So, once again, the back of the head came off perfect. There's the back of the head. Wish I could... You thought this one was bad. This is the other one yesterday, or a couple, like a week ago. That was the one that I broke originally. All right, look at this one. This is the one I broke this morning, taking it apart, completely destroyed. Can't fix it. That's no way you can fix those. So once they break or crack, even if it cracks, you can't fix them. So I got to clean up out here and get back to the drawing board. I know Pipe Master's like probably furious. So am I, pal. You know, I'm upset too. But you know what? I don't handle things like that. I don't get overwhelmed. I work the problem. Always work the problem. So I'll get back on this. This sculpture really got damaged quite a bit too. I got a lot to do. This jawline got wrecked here. Big chunk out of this. The nose is completely destroyed. So I got some work to do. This is all caved in. You know, I started getting a dip in here too on the top of the head. I didn't notice it until I started taking that sculpture or the stone off. And I thought, oh my God, it's grabbing there. So, you know, some damage here on the back of the neck. Forget about the ears. I told you about that. They're going to break no matter what. But I'll be getting back on this in the next day or two. So, I might take a break today because my buddy's coming to see me. Take off, Vision. Have a good day. All right. I don't know if you were saying goodbye yet. Pipe Master, are you still there? Yeah. I'm just as ticked off about it. But I'm really not that upset. You know why I'm not upset? Because I know how fast I was able to fix this the last time. And I thought, what's another 24 hours? What's another 30 hours? Who cares? It only takes me about 24 to 30 hours to, at the most, because the last one I did only took 10 hours of work time. Now that's pure work time. That's like, I got like 3 hours in that night. And I think it was 3 hours, it was 3 hours the night before, the night that I pulled it out of the mold. And then I did 7 hours the next day, and I had it back to right where it needed to be. So I know that I can get this back to where I want. And you know, it's funny, Pipe Master, yeah, 120. Yeah, I got to call him. I don't know where he's at. Yeah. All right, I got to jump off of here, guys, because my buddy's supposed to be here at 1 o'clock, and here it is 1:20. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, yeah, he's coming. He's from North Jersey, and he's coming down. He's down on vacation right now, and we're gonna hang out for the day. So, yeah, this sucks, but it's. Thank you, Takeoff Vision, for the corrective criticism. And believe it or not, Pipe Master, he helped me out with this particular. I made this eyebrow too flat right here. I couldn't figure out, you know, we were talking back and forth to each other about, he thought this eyebrow was too high. At first he was saying it was too high and this was too low or something. I forget what it was. All I know is I misunderstood him. But then when I looked at the picture, the eyebrow on the actual mask is a little rounder than this eyebrow here. So I'm going to fix that in the sculpture too. So it's actually a good thing that it broke, because now I get to fix that one little extra detail. You know, I just keep learning these little extra things. And you guys are mask collectors, so Takeoff Vision's a mask collector, big time collector, obviously. And he also has a pretty good eye for detail, because until I understood what he was talking about, I thought, you don't know what he's talking about. And secretly, I was thinking that. So sorry, I'm being honest with you. But I was the one wrong. I was definitely wrong, because once I saw what he was talking about, thank you so much. And like I said, I like the extra eyes. I do. I want you guys to always, you know, don't hesitate. Don't be afraid. I got thick skin, baby. Thick skin. 60 years taught me how to handle, taught me how to handle, how do you call it? What do you call it? I'm just tired. Um, Rejection. There you go. 60 years taught me how to reject, how to handle rejection. No problem, Takeoff Vision. I appreciate the help. I really did, man. You really did point out something that was definitely wrong. And it does. It looks too flat. When I look at the sculpture dead on, the eyebrow looks too flat. And now that I see it from this angle, it definitely looks too flat right in here. This is a little bit round. Now, we're not talking about a lot here. We're just talking a very little bit more roundness to the eyebrow. And let me go back to the picture. Jesus. Yeah. Let me go back to the picture. All right. You can see that eyebrow's just got a little bit of roundness to it, just a little bit. All right. I'm more interested in this guy than I am this guy. And even here, this really exposes that it has a little bit of an arch to it. A little bit of roundness to it. I have to fix that because mine, look how flat that looks. It's definitely too flat. Doesn't look right. When you're looking at it dead on, it's closer looking to this, but it's still not correct. So thank you, Takeoff Vision. And I got to call my buddy because he's probably lost somewhere. He's waiting for me to call him. All right. I want to thank you guys for all tuning in. And I mean, it's been 5 and 6 people on here steadily. And we were just basically talking about the mask and everybody's opinion. You guys are all talking to each other. Some of the stuff you guys are talking about, I have no clue about. And like I said, I'm new to it, so I'm learning as I go. So I only got 2 years under my belt with this stuff, so I'm still learning. And I do listen to you guys. So thank you so much. And I will keep at this. And if my buddy leaves at a decent hour tonight, I'll come on and maybe start doing this and bringing this back. But don't expect me to do a lot of talking. I'll talk, but I'm going to really concentrate. I really have to get this knocked out. I want to get it knocked out in, I'm going to say at the most 36 hours, because there's a lot more damage to this thing this time. So, all right, Pressman, thank you for watching. I want to thank all you guys for tuning in and watching, because like I said, this is an adventure for me. This is fun. I love it. And I don't even mind retooling. I don't. Am I upset a little? Yeah, because I want to move on. I want to get on to the next, I want to go on to the next thing. But you know what? It just ain't meant to be. Maybe somebody's telling me, hey, you had a little bit more fixing to do. That's why it didn't work out. So, but the stone issue, at least that's solved now. Now I know that I have to make that stone a lot. The Ultra Cal 30 has to be made thicker. Has to be a thicker, denser stone. You have to add more stone than water. It has to be the consistency of a little thicker. It's in between peanut butter and pancake batter. It's got to be right in the middle there. And I was far from that. My stuff was like literally runny. It was dripping off my brush. That's how thin it was. And that's what broke. That's why it broke, because it was too thin. The plaster was too brittle. Not enough plaster in it. So now knowing that going forward, we won't have that problem again. So yeah, it was really weird. I was tapping on that thing, and all of a sudden it's chipping. I'm like, what the? That's impossible. There was other molds that I made that I never had any problems. So I'm rattling on. I'm talking too much. I got to get off of here. I got to go call my buddy, see where he's at. All right. Peace, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting this channel. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Also share the content. And YouTube loves that like button. Don't know why, but they love that like button. So please punch that thing. And if make sure you hit the notification bell and hit all. Every time I come on, if you hit the all, it'll notify you. If you're not being notified, then unsubscribe and then resubscribe, because sometimes that happens. You know, where you're not being notified. You're ever having problems with other people that you're following where you're not getting notified? I guarantee you, all you have to do is unsubscribe from them and then resubscribe, and it'll probably fix your problem. All right, so peace. Thank you again. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Hopefully I'm really jumping and getting this really back to where it was. Frustrating, but you know what? Life's good. I'm still breathing. It's a good day. And Pipe Master, I will talk to you on the phone. I'll reach out to you and give you a call once I get taking care of my buddy. I got to call him up and see where he's at. All right, I'll see you guys. Peace. Thank you again. Bye.